So you're going to create an object next?
Yeah, so let's go ahead and make something. So we're going to go through here and add a button, and then we'll connect the button to an action, which will add a cube or something. We can make a sphere cube pretty easily. So what I want to do now is I'm going to go here and just basically just add a button to the code. So I'm going to go into my snippets. Oh, let me get out of this. Let me go back to the view where I want to add it to. So I clicked on view right here, and I can either do it like this, or I'm going to go this way and say add button. And I'm going to just drag it in to the scene, and I'm going to put it down here in the lower left corner. And we'll go ahead and add some constraints. We'll make the button, let's see, 50 and 30 from the bottom. And we'll give it a width and height of 80. Oops, 80. And that should do that. And we'll take away, let me go real quick and find an image for it. Let's see what we have. Let's take away the text. And we'll just give it a background of something cute that I can just pick right from here. Let's see, something that looks like an object. Let's see. I don't know. How about just this? That doesn't matter. That gives us that. Okay, so I'm going to go and control drag now this into the code and make an action to this for this guy. And I'm going to say add object item. There we go. And it's going to be an action. Make sure it's an action, and go ahead and make the connection. And here we are. Now we have our action ready to go. So when we hit that button in the lower left-hand corner, we're going to go ahead and trigger adding an object. So first thing we want to do now in here is create a node. As you saw, you have the hierarchy of the AR and then the scene, and then we have a bunch of nodes. So this is literally just going to go ahead, hit the button. We're going to go add a node in here, and the node, then we're going to go and describe what the node is. And so we're going to give it a size property. We're going to give it appearance and color. We're just going to make a color for now, and then we'll tell the kit where do we want to position this. So so let's go ahead and create a node. Node equals, and then this is a scene kit node, just like that. And we're going to tell it to add. We're going to tell the scene view to add this as a child. So we go to node. Actually, no. Before we start adding it, we have to tell it what it's going to look like. So let's go ahead and give it some properties like geometry. And let me wait for autocomplete. SCN. This is the stuff that Apple gives us, which is really great. We can define it as a box. So I'm going to go ahead and pick a box right now. And what kind of a box? Well, we're going to go do one that has, let's see. Yeah, we're going to give it a width, height properties. So we're going to make it, this is meters, the scene. So whatever room we're in, we have to consider, not making something too crazy big. So I'm going to do like 1/10 of a meter for everything, width, length. And the chamfer radius, that's how sharp the edges are. We're just going to make the edges very sharp, just like a regular box with no rounded corners. So that's the first thing. This is the size or shape. And then we're going to tell it, okay, what do we, next thing we want to give it is some color or appearance. And that's node, again, dot geometry. And I haven't dug too far into all the things that we can do with geometry, but we're gonna, once we get through this, maybe if there's time, we'll start to mess with it and see what else we can create, maybe some pyramids and other complex shapes here. This is an optional, they're all optionals, but Xcode will automatically, if I say I want to do a first material, which is what's it made of, I'm going to define that. It automatically makes it an optional. Diffuse is the property, and the contents next. And I cheat a lot. I use autocomplete a lot because I'm like never sure of like how everything is spelled. So give it a UI color and let's just make it blue or something like that. So that's our appearance. And then the last things, just tell it is position. And so we're going to do the same thing. Let's see, node dot, well, not same thing, we're doing position now as a 3-dimensional placement. So you notice that's got an SCN vector. 3 is the type, so we're picking position. And we're going to now tell it what position. Again, SCN vector 3. And then the 3 things we give it are 0.0, comma 0.0, comma 0. Let's see what happens if we do everything zeros. I should put it right, and I need a comment there somewhere. Something's not looking very good. There we go. So now we have the position. So we define the shape, the appearance, and the position. And what else did we need to do? We define it on button touch. And I think we probably want to add it to the scene. Yeah, let's do that. So last thing we want to do once we've defined all of the things is add to scene. And then we're going to say, let's see, self.scene view, autocomplete, thank you, dot scene, dot root node. And we're going to tell it to add child node. So, and then we just have to pass the node that we have defined. So we just go node, and that should be it. Let's go ahead and run it and see what happens. Any questions so far about adding this? It's pretty straightforward, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. All right, so there you are looking at my floor again. Here we are with our, okay, so now we have our button, and I go ahead, tap that and see, boom, okay, cool. So it added the cube. As you can tell, this little cube has been added 1/10 of a meter in size, which is really cool because it looks like small. Is that about 10 centimeters? I should measure that. Where are we here? I should measure this and see if it's indeed 10 centimeters. That seems about right. Let's see.
So that position looks like it's the center of the object. Is that right?
Yeah, so the center of the object is 0, 0, 0, X, Y, Z. Because if you look at it, you can see it's basically each of the axes is right through it. Oh, what happened there? Oh, I flipped my phone. So yeah, so it's XYZ centers. So the center of the cube is our zero origin. So if I stop it and I change it, yeah, so let's see what happens. If I now change it, so X, Y, and Z, which axis do you want me to play with first?
The y-axis.
Okay, let's make that 2/10 of a meter. Positive or negative? I think negative is down. Well, let's find out. Let's see what happens. We'll restart it and we'll take a look at that and see what happens. All right. Okay. This time I was holding my phone, so the positions are going to be a little different. Let's zoom back out. Is it making you dizzy that I'm showing the screen in this? I'll do it like this here. There we go. I'm going to add a cube. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yep. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. So we can go peek under it. And that looks right. Yeah, it's about a tenth of a meter. Let me see if I can grab it. I'm having trouble grabbing it for some reason. I guess that's probably a more advanced function, huh? Okay, so cool. There it is. So we have a cube, and we can move it around anywhere you want. We can change the color. We can do all kinds of stuff to it. I'm gonna do now is let's add a you guys. Oh, actually, let's do one more thing now. So let's add a button to get rid of it, to clear it, because that's something you probably want to do. And then the next thing, oh, you know what? Let's give it some textures. How about that?
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah, let's give it some. So let's add a light source, and see if we can look at how that reflects and how that works. So let's see. I think what we want to do now is we're going to want to add, because there's nothing in here that says there's a light source in addition to what's in the room. So in addition to what the camera sees, there's no additional light source. So it doesn't know how to apply what's going on in the room, and number one, and number two, as far as the cube's concerned, it's just glowing, I guess. That's the only reason we can see it. It's got its internal light source. So we'll have to go in here and add in our view controller, probably, let's see if I go into view. Yeah, probably in view did load, we'll have to add in some light. So we're going to go into scene view, and we're going to create some default lighting. Now what it's going to do is it's going to, because we have a couple things to do. We have to add the light source, and then we have to also tell it where to put the light source. Right now, I'm just going to enable default lighting, which basically assumes the phone is the light source. And you'll see when the mobile device is the light source. You'll see what I mean by it when I turn this on. So I'm just going to enable this to be true. Okay, and then when we add our item, we'll just, before we add it to the scene, we're going to want to add it. I guess we'll just just define the type of light, I guess. Let me think about that. So we add the source. I think we have to tell it, yeah, right? We have to tell it what type of light, like the color. So I'm going to go ahead and set right here. So node dot geometry, and it's going to be a material. Specular. This is a word that I have not even looked up yet, but I know people that work in their business of ray tracing and all of that know exactly what that means. Maybe, I'm sure Pat knows what specular means. UI color. Okay.
It tells the renderer like what type of material it is, like how to refract light off of it. There's specular, and then there's also you can there's specular, and then there's like emissive, so light will come from it. I think specular is just like how the material refracts the light.
Okay, that's pretty. Yeah, that's really awesome. So you can make it like a mirror finish, right? By defining the specular properties. So like a mirror finish would be a type of specular property.
What are the different options for materials? There's specular materials. There's emissive. There's
Oh yeah, let's try that. Let's see if I can create more. Maybe I can say node.geometry, and I'm going to say first material, and I'm going to say specular, and then I'm going to say what options do we. So there was the contents. Intensity. Minification filters. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of options. Let me see, going back.
Specular just defines the way that the light is reflected off the surface.
Off the surface, okay.
Versus diffuse, which is, so specular I think is more like a mirroring refraction, and the diffuse has more of a diffusing.
All right, so let's go ahead and run it, and let's see what this ends up looking like. Oh, it looks like we got one more coming in. Is that? Okay. Let's see if we do that. Whoops, where are we? Okay. Okay, so here we are again with our XYZ. I'm going to go ahead and tap my little icon here at a cube. Oh, there it is. Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Now this is looking cool, right?
Yes.
This is really cool, yeah. So there it is. And I can probably go right under it and see the same thing, yeah. Ooh, why am I? Oh, my cord's too short for that. I should have put the object closer. Yeah, so cool. So let's do that now. So let's see what else we can do with this cube. I'm going to go ahead and stop it. I want to round the corners just a little bit for fun. I don't like sharp edges. So let's try a probably 1/10 of a meter. So it's going to be like, I'm going to try something 0.03 on the edges. Let's see what that does here. Let's give it a little bit. Okay, oops. All right, there we are. And do the image. And the cube, there's the cube. My edges are, oh, that's interesting. Oh, there they are, yeah. Oh, look at that. Do you see the,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
that's very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's that. That is looking great. All right, cool.
Okay, this is a good spot to take a break. And the next workshop, we'll be doing more complex shapes, interacting with them, importing objects. Those are for future times. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.